Hey everybody, it's Audrey Berm at Audrey Lynn Studios on the west on the west coast of Canada near Vancouver. Um, I have a bit of a make along. So many of you have been asking for a larger oyster dish cutter, and I can't do it with the printer that I have right now. I am seriously looking into a bigger one, but even then, I wouldn't be able. I think the biggest I could make it would be maybe 14 inches. After that, Anyway, this is a method that I use to get a bigger oyster dish. Thank you to Lisa Finkel, who was one of the people who asked for a larger cutter, and in the end, she just made do. And so this is how I do my larger dishes. So you could do this with any of the cutters. Anyway, so this is the oyster dish. This one doesn't have the pearl, but this is just the 10-inch cutter. So yeah, it's about like that. It ends up being 9 inches, which is nice. But lots of people want the larger one so they can put all the oysters on there, which I agree. So yeah, let's go. So here's my 10-inch oyster stamp part of the cutter. There's a cutter that goes around this as well. And this one is black simply because that's what I printed for myself. The ones on the website are gray. And I changed to gray because you see them better when they're photographed, and like even here it's easier to see if it was in gray. But this is the 10-inch oyster cutter. And we want an imprint of this. So what I do, because I would also like to have a bigger oyster dish. It fits on this paper, which is great. Of course it would. This is an 8.5 by 11. So we can just put that on there. And I unwrapped a crayon. And I'm sure many of you have crayons hanging around, parts of crayons. I didn't, so I had to unwrap one and just make an imprint of this. I'm sure all of you learned this in kindergarten, but it sure comes in handy no matter how old you are. Okay, there you go. Now, what you want to do here is either scan this or photograph it. So let's photograph it. And then I'm going to take this photo into, yeah, I'm still using Publisher. You can use Canva. I just know how things print out on my computer with Publisher. So that's what I'm going to do. Or you can just take this to, um, well, here we have Staples. I don't know if we have a Kinko, but a place where they enlarge, right? And get it enlarged to the size you want. Okay, this is my Publisher program with Microsoft, and they're going to abolish this. So we're going to have to figure out a different way later to get it to print out. But anyway, I'm going to go for more blank pages. Come on. And then I'm going to create my size. You can look here and see if there's anything that'll fit for you, but I usually just create my size. And yeah, it's in centimeters, so you just have to figure that out. All right, so here I am in ChatGPT. Now, if you've never used this, this could be a little foreign, but I use it all the time. And I've hit new chat, so here I am ready to go. And so what I'm going to say here is, I have a plate that the measurements are 10 inches by 6 inches oops, 6 inches, and I want the plate to be 14 inches and the width to follow accordingly. How big do I have to make my pattern? Pretty primitive language, but whatever. ChatGPT is amazing that way. You just need to scale it proportionally. Your original plate is 10 by 6. Your new desired length is 14. So find the scale factor. It tells you all how to do it if you don't want to go to ChatGPT. So your final pattern size will be 14 inches by 8.4 inches. Great. So now, what is the pattern size in centimeters? Here we go. So it tells you what the conversion factor is and the calculations, la la la, and your final pattern size in centimeters will be 35.56 times 21.324 centimeters. Great, thank you, ChatGPT. So here we are back in Publisher, and we need to put in the measurements in centimeters. So the length or the height is going to be 35. You can also just highlight it in 35.56 centimeters and then 21.34 in the width. Oops. I went higher because I was just thinking that's the size of our image, of our pattern. But we actually want a document just a little bit larger. So let's just tack on a couple centimeters here, a couple centimeters here. There we go. Okay, there it is. Create. Yes. Awesome. Okay, so I took my picture with my phone and all my stuff goes to Google Photos. So let's go back here. Yes, I was working on a library roller. And oops, right here. Here it is. Okay. And let's download that to my computer. Great. Then I'm going to go back to Publisher to where I was working on that document. And I'm going to insert my photo. Here it is. And I'm just going to copy it and then put it into Publisher. There we go. Now, I would like to crop this. So I right click and crop it. Here we go. Oh, we could do it on the sides too. Oops, dummy. Oops. I guess I shouldn't call myself a dummy online. Oh well. All right, here we go. Oh dear. Okay, here we go. Okay, so now fit this in here. Come on, all the way. And that will give me my 14-inch or 35.56 centimeter oyster dish. And so when I print this off on my printer, it comes out in tiles. So I'll go do that. Or like I said, you can just take this to a printer and get it enlarged. Okay, here are my piles that I printed out. So I'll just line them up and tape them on here. Let's see. Is that right? Did I got that right? I'm not sure what exactly happened there. Huh. Let's try this way. I'm not sure why that didn't come out right. Maybe it's a printer thing. But anyway, let's start on this side, because this matches up, so it's probably a printer thing. But we can make it work. There we go. There. And then here. Like that. And then here. And for some reason, this is so weird. It's so weird. Isn't that weird? It didn't actually print right on my printer, but that's just a quirky thing. So I'm just going to do this. It matches down here. You just make it work. That's what you do. You get pastry stuff like that. Right here. I used to make signs this way. Like, I would make the patterns for signs for Crowsbury Farms this way. And these signs were like 8 feet long, 6 feet high. And, you know, like they were huge. And so, oh, was I doing that right? I hope I was doing that right. I hope I was in the frame. Anyway, this is how I do it. And I've just had reams of paper with this huge pattern, but that's how I made all their farm signs. Yikes, I almost wasn't in frame there for you guys. Okay, well, let's just use this crayon here. So we'll just connect those lines. All right, sometimes stuff happens, right? Great. So now I'm going to cut this out, not around. Oh, no. First, I want, take it from me. You want to tape it right past your image. Here. Okay, good. So that when you cut it, it sticks together. So we're just going to cut around the document part. Great. There you go. A nice big oyster dish. So we'll take this to the clay. Now you could make a pattern from this with plastic so that you could reuse it all the time. I find that it's not going to take me very long to trace this on the clay, but anyway, we'll just do it this way. Do I have a plastic bag? Hang on. I do, said the girl who lives on the farm. Okay. I got this when I buy my freezer meat. Just got a nice big piece of plastic. All that garbage. Okay, here we go. Get it all over there. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is tape down my pattern so it doesn't move on me. Tape down my plastic so it doesn't move on me. Get myself a Sharpie and go to town. And there you go. Now you have a pattern that you can use all the time. Here. way in here. I'm telling you, where there's a will, there is a way. And I agree, it is nice to have this nice big oyster dish to put all your oysters on. It's here, here, and I believe it's like that. We can always look at our template. Oops, kind of a little over here. So I'll just fill that in a bit. This one here. Oops, I went a little bit far, but it's no big deal. And here, do I have everything? Yes, I believe I do. All right. I'm sure I do. Oh, well, this one is just like this, but it's no big deal. Okay, there you go. So, see? Pattern. Okay, so I've rolled out a slab here, and it is a little more than a 1/4 inch. You don't want it too thin when you start getting into the larger plates, right? So yeah, it's about 5/8 of an inch. And here's my pattern. There we go. And so now what you're going to do is just trace this out, right? I should probably use my wooden tool. Just a second here. You can feel it's catching a lot. Okay. There we go. And you get a deeper impression, so that's great. All right. Now, by all means, as I'm doing this, leave me how maybe you have a different way of getting this onto clay, an enlargement onto clay, how to make an enlargement and get it onto the clay. So I was prompted to do this because Lisa Finkel from Finkel Pottery, she bought a set of oyster cutters. And she asked if I could make them larger, knowing that I probably couldn't. Because it has to do with the bed of your printer, whether the bed of your printer is large enough. And right now it's not large enough. Now I'm considering getting a new printer just because I get a lot of orders, and I would get probably the largest one within my budget. No, I can't remember what that is. So I'm hoping that it's at least 12, if not 14 inches. But we'll see. I always have to take lots of things into consideration. Buy a new thing like that. Okay, I think I've got everything here. Pretty sure of it. So I'm going to take it away slowly just to make sure. What happened there? But anyway, yeah, looks good. Great. Then I'll take my pin tool and just cut it on the outside. There we go. Cut this off, cut that off. And so what I've done is prepared a board. I'll show that to you. I prepared a wear board with newsprint. I'm going to put this on there. Okay, so now I'm going to smooth out the edges a bit, and I've just got this plastic from the other side of that bag. Take my fingers, smooth that out. There, it's a nice edge. Now you can flip it over and do the same. Just make sure you don't muck up your design or your imprint on the other side. This just helps with less sponging later. That's what it does. Less fiddling. Okay, so let's flip it over again. There we go. Good. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is let this set up, because we have to turn this around. Yeah, we have to now carve in here. Blue, and this is a little bit soft to do your carving. Okay, so we've got it to this point. Now we need to just wait. This is set up a bit, but of course what's going to happen is it's going to dry more around the edges. So I'm choosing to lift my edges right now, and I'll just have to carve in here on the side. I don't want to leave it so long that it, hang on here. I don't want to leave it so long that it cracks when I curl up my edges. So I'm just going to do this. That. There we go. Just get it to where you want it. And then I'm going to leave it a little bit longer. It's still too soft. I mean, you could do it. Of course you can do it, but I prefer to do it just a little bit later. But getting these edges up now, I felt was rather important. I can carve on the side just like that a little bit if I wanted to. Okay. Okay, so I cut out another one because I had enough clay. And with this one, so when you buy the oyster cutter, it comes with the stamp and the cutter like this, okay? So it means that when you cut it out, there's like a little bit of a bead around the cutter, the stamp, that kind of borders it. So I thought, well, we could always add that bead ourselves. So I'll show you what I mean. Got this here, let me line it up. Like that. Okay, so here's the outline of the oyster. And if you want, you can just take a, go out like a 1/4 inch all the way around. So you can do that on the pattern, or just use your needle tool. So here I've actually mapped it out already. There we go. So you see here's the outside of the cutter, the stamp, and this is the little border I've added this time. So I'm just going to see which one I prefer more. I mean, it's all up to you. You're the artist. You can do it whatever way you want. So either way, it's going to look good. It's just just seeing what I prefer. Okay, so now I'm going to put the plastic on there, soften the edges, fold it up, and then wait so I can carve it at the same time as that one. All right, so this is still a little soft to carve, but I'm going to go for it because I need to get on to other things. Stop wiggling. And I just have, what is this thing? This is a Kemper tool, and it has a square, can you see that? There's a square wire bit. You can get other, oops, there was clay in that. Sorry about that. Yeah, you can get all sorts of carving tools, of course, but this is the one that I have. So, no, I will zoom in when I edit. So all I'm going to do then is just carve these out. And don't have to go too deep, but that's the thing. You do have to judge how deep you can go, right? So if I had a wider tool, it'd probably be easier to do in here. And there's going to be definitely some cleaning up needed later for sure to smooth it out. Part of the problem is it's really soft right now, but that's okay. I'll show you just a little bit more, and then I'll just end up going and doing it myself off camera, because I mean, you get the idea. Can't think of any reason why you would need to sit and watch me carve. I mean, I would if it was really intricate, but this is just, yeah, carving within the lines, so. Oh, maybe when I go to the supplier next time, I'll see if they have a bigger tool. Okay, so let's go over here, and then I'll finish this off myself. Okay, I'll finish that myself. Okay, so clearly I'm not done yet, but I did want to just tell you what I do. Once they are done and they're all cleaned up, I use my rice bags in there, and I just lay them in and to keep them flat. Like that. And then I take plastic, cover them loosely like this, and I let it sit on the shelf. And it could be there for, a good 4 or 5 days before I even look at it again, just to make sure that the wood underneath has taken all the moisture out from the bottom. The rice takes the moisture out from the top, but the edges don't get too dry because you have the plastic on. And so to me, this is the best way to get it drying evenly and flat. So that's what I do. Okay, so here's the larger oyster plate. It's firmed up now. It's still cool and wet. I think that it would I'm not sure if it would actually curl up or not, but I'm going to put it on a new piece of newsprint and a new board and new rice bags so that the moisture is all taken out of there. Okay, so you can see I added the pearl there. Now to glaze these, I have a glaze along. So I'm going to be firing this to 04, and then and I'll leave the link to the glaze along if you want to glaze it like I do. You don't have to, of course. So, all right, I hope you enjoyed the toot, and well, I will be looking into another printer. I'm finding it hard to keep up. Thank you all very much. I'm glad you like the cutters. And I enjoy getting them to you. I mean, keep in mind that when I design a cutter, it's for me. So, and then I am glad to share it. A lot of people ask in the comments for it to be shared. So thank you so much. All right. Peace out.